Yeah, we back. We live on the phone with
Mark Aguirre. My God, two-time NBA champion, bad boy Pistons member, Dallas Mavericks, drafted in the first round. My God, great talking to you, my man.
What's happening, man? How y'all doing today?
Absolutely, we're doing good, man. We're doing good. Can we turn them up a little bit too, so we can hear?
Yo, can you turn your phone up?
Hold on, real quick.
Oh man.
All right, that should be all the way.
So, what's going on with you, man?
Oh, man, well, actually, I just got through playing some volleyball. Playing volleyball, man, keeps you young, man, all that stuff. I keep myself young doing all that stuff, man, but it was fun, just out here having fun, man. Taking a break today.
I hear
That's all. What are you guys doing?
We just doing this podcast, trying to change the game.
Yeah, trying to do some in a new spot and all that.
I hear you. I like changing it, but I like, verifying it too. I like verifying, man, because some people got it twisted because, they only know what comes through, the regular, not close to it media, sometimes I just love when guys set it straight. So, I'm happy when we set it straight.
Yeah. So, I'm curious, what made you start going live anyway?
Good question.
Well, it was a strange situation is that, I try to give it to you like this, is that, I ran into LeBron several times, and I ran into him with my daughters, right? And, LeBron is an excellent guy. He respects the game. And he knows his history of the game. And my daughters couldn't believe his reception of me. Because, he saw me and he was like, oh my goodness, man, how you doing? Blah, blah, blah. My daughters, I don't go to many games anymore. I watch them. I go to them. Maybe if I'm out of town, I'll see a game I want to see somewhere. And I'll go, call the office and go. But then they started Googling and go and find my stuff. And they say, Dad, you actually could play. I was like, yeah, a little bit. A little bit, and then they started digging into my history, and then we would sit down and start talking, and they were just amazed at, how my life went. And say, Dad, you need to let people know. And I was like, I really want to do that. Say, Dad, just do a couple of Facebook Lives just for your friends. And I said, okay. And I did a couple Facebook Lives, and I guess got some positive feedback about people. Keep going. We love the way you're, enlightening us about the game. I'm kind of telling there's some untruths going on in the NBA, things that people don't really know, and I just try to, enlighten them on things that they definitely have wrong.
Yeah.
You have this wrong, and I like, if that's the way you think, let me tell you what really is, so, and that just led on to more and more, and now, I'm getting with guys like you guys, and you guys are doing some good stuff around, and when I read what's going on your page, I say, you know what, I understand where they're going, but, this is actually not accurate, so, that just led me to, really want to intermingle with guys as much as I can to just tell them what, and not to say that they're saying anything wrong.
Yeah.
But I want to just say, let me add a little bit to what you have already. That's all. That's all.
I mean, because that's what I wanted. I wanted, for people to, get informed the right way about, back in the, when you played the game.
Yeah.
So,
you gotta get informed.
So many people are like, oh, well, the game's changed. I'm like, but these guys were just as great then.
Well, I gotta put it like this, and and I get kind of telling old guys, the old guys, some of them get bitter, and they need to stop getting bitter. Talking about they don't play there. No, these guys are athletes. Matter of fact, they're more athletic than we were, without a question. We had a few athletes like Dominique Wilkins was an incredible athlete. The Rain Man in Seattle was an incredible athlete. He had some that were incredible, but these guys are athletes, and the game changes for the better. We don't dribble like Bob Cousy, and he's a Hall of Famer, and very, very right so. He should have been a Hall of Famer.
Right.
But we don't dribble like that anymore, right?
Right, that's true. That's true.
And the game changed for the better. You know, and the game is now changing for the better. Now you got 7-footers shooting jumpers and Durant taking people off the dribble, being point guards, centers being point guards. That's evolution. I love that. You know, our game is getting other aspects that you get excited about. You know, I wish they would let them play defense though, but I don't know how you do that. You know, I wish they would let them play defense.
That's the hard part.
You know?
That's the part that people forget about, right?
Yeah, well, you know, I just think that you know, the NBA did a good thing in trying to provide more scoring. But, you know, when it comes down to it, if you think about it, in the playoffs, it's scoring, but it's all about getting stops.
Yeah, that defense.
Hey, when you talk about a team winning, it's all about getting stops. And if you have offense too, which the Warriors have, but you know, they got stops too. They made it tough on Cleveland. You know, they made it tough.
That's how people forget about that aspect of the Golden State Warriors too. It's like they're one of the greatest offensive teams that we've probably ever seen, but at the same time, they're also one of the better defensive teams we've ever seen as well. With the
we overlooked that. We overlooked that. You know, and I think that that's some things that you have to educate. You know, people who are really seeking to be more knowledgeable of the game, to get them to focus on what happens offensively and defensively. What happens.
Now,
you know, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, it's like, to that point itself, like, now when you played, you know, you were on the Bad Boy Pistons. I mean, defense was something that you did. That was something that what your team, at the end of the day, was known for, was its defense. I mean, you as your own player, you were an offensive juggernaut yourself, but it always really mattered about the defense. How is that? How do you see that it really has changed from your era to now, that players, even though the league wants it to be a faster game, that the defense at the end of the day has slid into the wayside because, as you just said, defense wins championships, no matter what.
Well, you got to understand it is that this whole league has speeded up totally. And I think if you did a little study on it, the ball probably passes half court now with less than probably 2 to 3 seconds now. But I bet if you look back in the past, there were probably like more 6 or 7 seconds left on that clock.
Yeah.
I mean, it probably took 6 or 7 seconds. So if you take a whole game and you add that many times the ball getting over half court, you're going to have more shots. So if you have more shots, there's going to be more offense. You know, our defense, we only had to play defense a certain amount of time because the ball got in the scoring area only with so many seconds on the clock. So it was actually easier to play defense then. But now you probably have to play defense probably, I would guess you probably have to play defense probably 6 seconds more than you had to when we played. I'm just taking a shot at it.
Right.
But that means the ball moves around the court. Probably, if this ball rotates, it probably moves at least 5 more times. That's a lot in basketball.
Yeah, no, definitely.
A lot. That's a lot. So, and in doing that, the game's going to be quicker. There's going to be more points. But in the playoffs, you see that thing changes. It changes a lot because teams are picking up a little earlier. They're picking up a little earlier, yeah. You know, and you can't get the ball up the floor as quick. You know, so it changes a little bit in the playoffs. You don't see, you know, the gigantic scores. You know, you might see 1 or 2 in the playoffs, but usually the scoring goes down. You know, because you're picking up a little early, the ball's not flowing as quicker, but it is faster. The game is a lot faster.
Okay.
So Adam had a question for you. He said, do you feel that players' IQs aren't as high as they used to be in the game?
You know, I think that in terms of the teams, totally from the starters to the guys on the bench, I feel like they are limited so far as reading a defense. You know, because the game has gotten quicker. You don't have as much time or you don't have to have that super IQ to be able to read the offense to take advantage of it. Because right now it's pick and roll. He pops, and if somebody rotates to him, he goes, and they all stand on the three-point line, so it's fairly simple. But you don't have to have an IQ to say, okay, in the last parts of the game, you know, this is going to happen, that's going to happen, I have to deliver the ball here. You're still in pick and roll session, but we would run plays to actually, as you're saying, they were trying to go at Steph Curry. You see Cleveland trying to go at Steph Curry. I think you saw Houston trying to go at Steph Curry. So that's the play. There's no read to that. So you can't really measure a guy's IQ when that's the read to it. You know, I think most of them are reacting more so than reading. That's my assessment of it. You know, I can't say that I'm totally right, but they're reacting rather than reading. So if you want to lay IQ on reacting, you know, but I don't think there's a gigantic difference. But on a totality, we had to have players that, you know, had a high IQ in order to play in the playoffs, because if you didn't, you know, we were going to get crushed. We're going to get crushed.
No, I hear that. I definitely hear that. I mean, that's actually an interesting point as well, too, just how, I mean, we're going into defense, but then how the offense switches kind of what your mentality is towards the defense. Because, like you said, if you're just reacting towards the defense rather than having the scheme out, like every player knowing what the defense is, rather than just a regular pick and roll set or somebody getting open for a three, then all of a sudden you're not really looking at the full defense and you're not actually getting what the defense is, in a sense.
No, you're not. You're basically, from the first start of the pick and roll, you're trying to see how they're going to react. And then once they react, you figure out where the ball is going, and the defense is basically has a set rotation to each pick and roll. You know, that's how it's, I mean, that's what I see, you know. I know I'm not the guru of it, but that's what I see.
Definitely. And Adam's like, he agrees as well. Yeah, no, definitely. That's truthful right there. That's truthful. Yep. Man, definitely, yo. And real quick now, I'd like to ask you too, you know, I mean, yeah, I gotta keep saying it's great to have you on today, man.
No problem, man, no problem.
With your career and for what you saw during your time playing against greats, I mean, you played against those Boston teams, you played against Michael Jordan, you know, you had those battles, and then you look at these players now, you know, like a LeBron James, I mean, we can go further beyond, like a Kobe Bryant, Kevin Durant, all of these guys. Is there anything that you see that's different from the greats that you played with to the greats that we're watching right now?
Well, the only thing that I see different is the fact that because the rules have changed so far as not limiting the movement of a player. I mean, right now, you know, you have to let a player move, you know, but when we play, you're taking away everything that he is comfortable with. And even if that's physically taken away, getting in his spot, getting away. So you can take more away, and in doing so, I don't see the ability for the defense to be able to take people out of the game. You know, you know, we would take people out of the game. Like, you know,
you almost need like a defensive stopper in a sense.
Yeah, well, you know, you could actually stop people because we were able to limit your movement. But right now, if a guy is coming from one side of the lane to the other side of the lane, we can actually physically keep them from coming across the lane. But now if a guy runs that fast and runs into you because of the rules they got now, you know, you'll pick up 2 or 3 fouls with the way we play. You know, so
I hear that.
Yeah, right now we would pick up 2 or 3 fouls because we were taught not to let you just freely move to get the ball. So it was a lot more work, and it was more like a heavyweight fight because we didn't think in terms of just stopping you being in your way. We thought in terms of physically beating you down.
Right.
You know, meaning that leaning on you, you know, pushing you, fighting you through screens, and after a while that can take its toll if a guy's, you know, not used to it. You know, you can take people out. Again, I think one on the 30 for 30, the Bad Boys, I think Michael actually alluded to the fact that reason he lost to us so much, his body wasn't ready for our physicality.
Right.
And I think he said that in the 30 for 30, and he went back and he lifted weights all summer. I mean, they started a thing called the Breakfast Club. He and Pippen and the guys to physically get ready to play, because we just basically physically wore them down. Like, it was just that much more physical when we played. And that was a part of the game then. Yeah. That was actually part of the game. Yeah, that was part of the game. You know, physically making the guy so tired, jump shot gets short, cuts get slow, and now I'm taking you out of the game.
Absolute. I know Adam has another question here.
He asked about what the Bulls did differently.
Yeah, he's asking. Yeah, Adam's asking what the Bulls did differently when they finally did get over the hump and beat y'all in the playoffs. You know, and you were kind of alluding to it when you said when they went into the gym and they got better and kind of acclimated to the toughness. But was there anything else that you saw besides them a little bit being tougher and being able to not their movement not being stopped? Was there anything that you saw from Michael and Scotty, let's just say, that made that team better?
Oh, that's real simple. They became us. They became us. People see we put the tag as the bad boys, and you know they would highlight our physical fouls and things like that. But if you really watch the Bulls, when they came down to the clutch, they were extremely physical, extremely. You know, but because we had the bad boy tag, you know, they looked at us a little closer. But when you look at the Bulls defensively. They played a lot like we did. I mean, Lambeer was the guy that gave a foul, and, you know, it was kind of ooh-ah, he and Rick Mahorn. But that was 10% of what was really going on. If you really watch what was going on, they got physical on every cut. They got physical on every transferring of the ball. See, people don't see the inside to that game.
Right.
I mean, that hard foul thing, that's 4 times a game. That's crap. But the physicality that goes on inside the game is what they adapted for us. Being physical off the ball, you know, not letting the guy cut the way he wants to cut. They took all of that from us. They took all, and we took it from Boston. We took it from LA.
Right.
You know, so it just transferred to the Bulls, you know, and then they had, you know, in my estimation is the best player ever played the game is in Michael Jordan. And they had him, you know. So that took them to a new level. Took them entirely to a new level.
Absolutely.
I don't know.
Yeah, it took them to a new level. Totally to a new level.
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely, man.
I mean, there's personally so many questions I would want to ask you. Like, I can't even think of this. Because, like,
we'll get another shot at it. Don't think this is the only one. We'll get another shot at it.
No, definitely. But I mean, like,
we'll do it again.
You're talking about somebody who their rookie season could have led the league in scoring. Like,
I'm saying it again.
Like, your rookie season, you could have led the league in scoring if you didn't get injured.
Yeah, like, talk to people about your accomplishments with that.
I was going to lead the league in scoring. I was absolutely going to lead the league.
Yeah. I mean,
I had no problem. I had no problem whatsoever in scoring the ball at any point in my pro career. Not at all.
That's
not
crazy.
At all, no.
And so, you know, as a player like that, too, because, you know, it's like you had to take a certain type of role. And I know if people watch the 30 for 30, you know, they did get a little bit of an aspect of it from you. But, you know, just for us to hear it from you, like, as a player that was in that kind of caliber as an offensive player, and then having to take another role. I mean, we see it all the time now, especially with these super teams that are being built together. I mean, DeMarcus Cousins just signed with the Golden State Warriors. He's not going to be dropping 25 and 12 anymore, but we know he's capable of that. You know, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant have all had to take their moments where they've stepped back. Klay Thompson, obviously, you know, when LeBron went to Miami, and then you had D. Wade and Chris Bosh taking steps back in a sense, Kevin Love, Kyrie, you know, just to name names. As a player of that caliber, how was it for you? And what would you say for these players now, their transitions on when they have to kind of change their game to fit their teams? How does that process go about?
Well, let me go from this direction. I commend them because a lot of guys, you mentioned every player that you mentioned was a player that's seeking what everybody wants, a championship. team. We all say we want a championship team, but what you just explained is a real basketball player putting the game before himself. Steph Curry totally changed his game when Durant came in. Durant changed his game somewhat, and then they came together and accepted each other's roles. Every player is not able to do that. They all say they're trying to win championships, but every player won't do that. They say they'll do it, but they won't do it. You know, trying to learn how to play defense. You know, you got a bad night sitting your butt on the bench because you can't score. I tell you a strange story. I came over from Detroit, Dallas, and Isaiah and I are best friends. Best friends. He, myself, Magic, just best friends, right? And I came to the team, and we had one night, Isaiah was about 1 for 15. You know, and I leaned over, you know, the guards were out there, and I leaned over and said, listen, you have to stop shooting. You're awful. Isaiah took that and said, Mark, you know what, man? I mean, I'm open, but it's just not falling out. You're right. I said, yeah, you got to swing it around. Stop shooting. Just for him being Isaiah Thomas, to accept that from me, that's what wins championships. You know, that kind of attitude, and, you know, Steph Curry has it, Klay Thompson has it, Kevin Durant has it, everybody on the Cleveland team had it, you know, and I think that the Houston team adapted to it. And a team that I really think that adapted to it, if they ever get it together, is the Utah Jazz team. I love them. Oh, they're sleeping on the Utah Jazz.
Now, why would you say that honestly? Like, what is it about the Utah Jazz that makes you feel that way?
Did you watch the series with them in Houston?
Yeah. It was a really good series. I mean, definitely was.
They had Houston on the road.
They did.
They had them on the road. And what I'm saying is that kind of season with the coach they got, I think is an excellent coach. If they do it right, they're going to learn from what happened last year.
Right.
True. And you plug a couple holes with that team, you don't want to see that team in the playoffs. They're one that could easily sneak in there.
I mean, do you really? I was going to ask too with that Utah team, Donovan Mitchell. I mean, that's like the one piece in the room. Like I feel like, I mean, of course you got Rudy Gobert, but Donovan Mitchell had that great rookie campaign. Do you see him extending that and becoming even better? Like, is that a piece to what you're saying with Utah?
Well, what I saw in him, and I saw him not only in the postseason, but I saw him in the regular season. That's not a mistake on what he did. That's not a mistake. That's the way he played. He took it to another level in the playoff, but that's not a mistake. And all that has to happen with him is that now he has to have other people around him that all of a sudden are ready to take the next step toward that championship. That's all that has to happen. That's all that has to happen. That's it.
Wow.
You know, and you can't say they can't play with the Houston Rockets.
Yeah.
And the Houston Rockets with Chris Paul, we don't know what would have happened.
No,
we have no idea. So now with Utah having them on the ropes, you know, listen.
Wow.
You got to look at that. I mean, you can't overlook that.
That's a great perspective. That is.
Yeah, you can't overlook that. You cannot overlook that.
I got a question about trash talk.
About who?
Trash talk.
About trash talk on the court.
Yeah.
So, do you feel that trash talk is a big part of the game? And on top of that, who is the biggest trash talker that you played against? And did they throw you off your game?
Let me give it to you like this: is that trash talking only comes from the players who need it.
Okay.
You know, because when you get two players who understand what you are about to get into, you rarely see any trash talking.
Right.
Because I can't waste my time on talking trash with you and I'm trying to win a title.
Right.
I can't do that. You know, I have no time to be lipping with you when I'm trying to figure out what the next play is and what you're doing wrong. If you're a trash talker, what you're trying to do is get me off my game.
Right.
You know, I didn't have to, you know, and the great players, we didn't, I mean, everybody talked about how much trash Larry talked.
Right.
Larry and I played each other 100 times. You know, I might be over-exaggerating. But the fact was that I was so into trying to beat them, I have time to talk trash. Right. And Larry was they were so in tune to try to keep me from getting off. We didn't have time to talk trash.
So you never really talked trash? Like, there was never that guy that you just knew on the floor that you could just eat him, like, because you were a scoring machine.
Well, you know, it's different because, you know, how would I put this? I mean, try to put this right. Is that in my career, I was never guarded by a small forward. Mm-hmm. I don't know what films you look at. If a small forward was guarding me, then that was doomsday for the other team. I'm just being honest with you.
No, I mean, but that's what I mean. Like, let's say like the defense switched up and there was a small forward. You want to look like, oh, this is cake work?
No, I just crushed right away. I didn't have time to talk with him. He knows he's getting ready to get crushed, and let's get it out the way.
Wow.
No, because the only reason why I asked that is because they say that Jordan was a big trash talker, and he threw a lot of people off the game.
Jordan and I played each other 100 times.
Yeah.
And when we played Detroit and Chicago, there were little things said because Dennis always tried to get in people's ear. But Jordan, if you look at him, he never even, like, paid any attention to that. You can't. That was Dennis trying to get Jordan off his game. After a while, Dennis shut up because he knows Jordan not going for that.
Right.
He's not going for that.
But see, now what about...
Stop fouling me or something like that, but he wasn't going to go lip to lip with him. Why would Jordan do that? He's taking his game. He's taking away from his game. That's idiocy. Why would you do that?
Right.
Why would you go there? I'm not going there. Please. I'm not going there. Yeah, Gary Payton was another trash talker.
Yeah, Gary Payton, you know, because I mean, I know he kind of...
I heard he had a mean mouth.
Yeah, and they always talk about how he got into it with Michael, and as a trash talker, he was one of the trash talkers that might have been able to actually break Michael just a little bit. No, I'm not saying anything, but then is there any validity to that either? I mean, from what you're saying,
you want to be a student, go back and get the films. I bet Michael had 40 in at least 3 or 4.
I don't doubt it.
How much did he get you? You know what I'm saying? How much did he get you? How much did he get you? You know, come on, let's be real. Come on. And Gary Payton was an excellent basketball player. Excellent.
No, he was.
And that was some of his advantage, to get people who would bite for it, who would go for the bait and bite. And now he got them. You know, Lambeer was the same way. He would just get people to bite the bait. You know, that's all he would do. That's what that's part of their strategy.
I hear that.
Nobody's going. I mean, the real players, we're not going for that. You know, just take this 35 and this loss and go home.
Wow. Adam has another question here too. He's saying, this is from Adam again. He's asking, which hurt more, losing to the Celtics on on the Bird Steel, or getting swept by the Bulls?
You know, I would say if I hadn't had a title in my pocket. Well, I wasn't a part of the team. You mean when Isaiah threw the ball away?
Yeah.
Right. And I know this is what he's
asking. He wasn't on that team.
I wasn't on that team.
When you got to the team, everything changed.
Yep.
Yeah, everything changed when I got there. Yeah.
I'll watch that.
Being swept by the Bulls, it hurt. But if I hadn't had 2 titles in my, pocket already, it might have hurt. You know, it might have hurt bad. But you know, it was their turn. I can look and respect the fact that the work that they did, they worked to get to where they were. I totally respect that. I respect that, you know, of the utmost. I respect that. So losing was hurt, but when I look at it, you know, y'all did the work to be here. So I'm not that upset. For us to slip up and play bad and lose, that would have been tough. But they won that. They won that. They came and got it. They got it. They came and got it. Gotcha. So I felt bad, but, you know, it's what happens in the NBA.
Yeah, true.
Adam with the hard
questions. That's what happens in the NBA. Yeah, so the Lakers aren't champions anymore. Either is Boston.
Hey, you know what? I have a question for you too. When you came over, I know Adrian Dantley. You ended up switching positions with Adrian Dantley, right?
Dantley got traded.
Dantley got traded.
Right.
Then he got traded. Okay. How was that? Did you ever have a relationship with him in a sense?
No.
No, not at all.
No. Matter of fact, that we were probably more on the destructive side to each other.
Oh, okay.
Just saw him, I wanted to destroy him. Everybody knew it. Because he would never guard me. But I had to guard him. You know, they wouldn't think about putting him on me. I wish they would think about putting him on me.
What?
That would have been.
Yo. Oh, man.
Look at your films. Go back and look at your films. You're not going to ever see him guard me in his entire career.
Who?
I crush him.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah, I love it. Oh.
No, I'm just telling you real. Excuse this noise. I'm walking through this thing.
Yeah, no.
You're not going to see. You're not going to see. See, I think people give all this credit, and I can't say that they shouldn't get credit, but when it comes down to me personally, you know, all the small forwards that you see, they wouldn't come in my way. No way, ever. No way, no how, not even thought about. When we tipped the ball up, that small forward went opposite of me. They wasn't thinking about having a small forward guard me. That would have been like heaven to me to have a small forward guard me.
Wow.
I carried around power forwards my whole life.
Wow.
My whole career, yeah, and got double teamed.
Yeah, because
Let's go.
yeah, because I had just started getting into basketball like right after the Pistons won. So like this is like a surreal moment for me. Like, you know, you're sitting there watching the 30 for 30, and all of a sudden like you're talking to somebody who like, you know what I mean, actually played like I could ask you like, who would you say honestly was the best scorer like out of you, Bernard King, and Michael Jordan, like just pure scoring?
Well, you know, if I was to say one or the other, I'd have to take myself out of that. Okay. You know, I think I scored extremely well, but I think Jordan and Bernard King I think we're at a little bit different level than I was as far as scoring. I mean, I could put it in the hole, but
yeah, you could put up some numbers.
But you know, Michael was you know, it was incredible how he scored. I mean, if you didn't watch him, man, he would like just do some things to you didn't even want to think about. You know, yeah, I could score, and I think I could score with anybody. But when you talk about those two, you know, you know, I would humbly just take myself out of that. You know, I wouldn't. I mean, I could. Like I said, I could put it in a hole, you know, no problem, but I would take myself out of that.
What does it feel like that, man?
Yeah,
like what does it feel? What does it feel like to actually have a ring, to know you're the best? You're the best team in the NBA.
Well, you know, I think we have to go back to, you know, how a player was coached and brought up, you know, and some of us are brought up not to lose anything, you know, and you know who those guys are. And so not to win the title means I lost. You know, so there's no other goal for you, you know what I mean? I don't know if you can understand what I'm saying, but there's no other goal. You know, if I don't win it, then I lost. You know, so it's not, oh, we had a good season. Nah, we lost. You know, so some guys think like that and some guys don't, I guess. But I don't know how to think like that. I just don't, I don't know a good season. What is a good season? I care less about a good season.
Yeah.
You know, that's not doing anything for me.
So, can I ask you this, though? Because you asked a question in the group one day about could any of the teams in the 80s beat the Golden State Warriors. And it made me think, could any of your Dallas Mavericks teams beat the Golden State Warriors?
Yeah, that Dallas Mavericks team was built where we were like totally ready to like really do some nasty stuff. But our problem came in after we played the 7 games. Our coach came in, John McLeod came in and wanted to change the entire offensive structure up. And I told him, said, look, we've been doing this for 8 years. And it's been successful. We lost game 7 to go to the finals. That wasn't our offense. You know, why would we want to change it? And, I bought in, and it was a disaster. It was an absolute disaster. And we were ready. We were the youngest team. We were younger than the Detroit team I went to.
Yeah.
But you know, when he came in and did that, you know, I had really, you know, a real sour taste in my mouth about. I ripped 8 years to get here. You change it up. And you messed up our chemistry for all that time, you know, and it just was never the same, you know. It was never the same when he did that, you know. So it was just a tough deal, you know, a real tough deal. But we were ready. We were ready. There's no way we were going to win the championship the next year if we hadn't changed our offense. We were going to win the Western Conference.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think we would have won if he hadn't changed our offense, because we went to game 7 and we had a crew. We could get it from anywhere, you know. So it was tough to see that happen, but you know, it is what it is.
Hear that. I want to see. We got a question here from Darius. You answered one of his questions before, so we'll go with the later one. Do you ever think that your Hall of Fame number will be called?
You know, I think you guys have been keeping up with me, and I must say, I don't know, but, you know, when you look at number-wise, there's no reason it shouldn't be. Yeah. You know, I mean, you can't argue number-wise. I mean, there's just no way to argue number-wise. I mean, if you put my numbers up against some guys that are in there already, it's easily looked at, you know, wins, you know, scoring, championships, you know, all of that. But I wasn't politically correct all the time, you know, and I went about the game where my destructive posture on the floor wasn't received very well, because, you know, I didn't ever just want to beat the team. You know, I wanted that guy that was guarding me to understand is that this is going to be your life as long as you're playing me. And I would do things viciously to the entire team. You know, I would just let them know viciously, and I don't think that went over well. You know, but I was about achieving a goal, but politically I wasn't the poster child for being politically correct. And I think that, you know, hurt a little bit, you know, because first they said that I was a team player, but I just a 30 for 30, and my action proved that different, you know, to do what I did. I could suggest to go to the bench. So our second season wasn't going well. Second fight wasn't going well, and I think that was the only thing that would have made it go well, was the fact that I entered the second unit. So, you know, I suggested that to Chuck Daly, and it worked. You know, so I was called out for being selfish in Dallas. Not a team player, causing headaches and roughness. See you later. But, you know, the proof is in the pudding. You know, put your money where your mouth is. Absolutely. And I did. Yeah, I didn't have to go to the bench. I had a championship ring already. If we didn't win the next one, so what? But, you know, I wanted another one. So those things kept me. I think it's not performance, it's not numbers. You know, so it is what it is, man. You know, it's what it is what it is.
I hear it. That's some real stuff right there. Absolutely. You know, I don't know, Chris, you have a question? I have a question.
I have a question. I want to ask, but I'm not. I'm trying to think of how to word it the right way, because I watched him Saturday on the radio, and he said back when he played, like, careers didn't last as long. And he was like, because we were running the older guys out the gym. So, can I...
Say that again? I didn't hear that.
I watched when you guys were on Saturday, right? And you were like, and you said like players didn't last as long in the league because when they were hitting 36, 37, 38, y'all were running them out the gym. Like you were taking their jobs. So and this is just an honest question. When you went to the Clippers, like, was there a player that you said, okay, it's time to give up? Like, is my time's done?
Oh, yeah, man. Geez, you could see yourself not able to do the things that you do. That's when you got to accept a different role. You know? Yeah. You got to accept a different role. No, there's no way. I had young guys behind me. At that point, I could still play, and I could do a lot of things, but, you know, why are you going to stop a player that's really getting ready to make his mark? You know? I'm not going to do that. You know, it was time. You know, I was 35, 36, and you know, I could still, I still could give you, 16 a night. You know, but
that's what I mean. You can still put solid numbers.
It was time for other players to. It was time. You know, it was time. You know, yeah, and they supposed to run them out. They're supposed to run these guys out. They're supposed to run them out. There's no way I'm going to let a guy, if I come in the league, a guy at 37 years old, keep that spot. It's not going to happen.
Right.
It shouldn't happen. Absolutely shouldn't happen.
I hear that.
Yeah, I was just curious because, like you said, you can still put numbers up.
Yeah, but I mean, not like I used to put numbers up. I could put up decent numbers, but you know, they should come to get that position. I know I would, No, the best player play. And I'm going to prove to you I'm the best player. And they should. You should go after that position. Yeah, you got to go after it.
That definitely says a lot about you, too. I mean, I think that says a lot about any player because, I mean, you don't want to be the player, not saying that, like you said, you can still put up numbers, but you don't want to be there as long and you're not necessarily providing the best opportunity for them. And I think that takes a lot. That takes a lot for, even you as a person or any player to be able to say to themselves and be like, look, I need to step away at this time and this is when I need to step away because sometimes people get lost in it.
Well, that's a tough time. That's a tough time about respecting the game. You see the players who did it and did it at its top. They respect the game. And Kobe is a real unique one. He was still like, in a different world, but he respected the game. And he left. So that's the hardest thing to do for any player. To say, okay, you know what? I respect the game enough. This is the time. This is the time. Respect the
game. So we got another question here from Adam, and then I also have a question for you too. I'm going to give you two questions right here. The first one is from Adam. He's asking, so when the Bulls did lose to you guys, he wants to know about how you thought about Pippen and how he played. And then my question after that would be, you had talked earlier kind of about how when you're chasing for the rings and you're going for the rings and how it feels to never get that ring. What do you think about players today? Like,
okay, let me answer your first one because they kind of overtop. What was the first one?
The first one was just about Pippen and against you guys when you were in Detroit and how when the Bulls lost against y'all, what did you think about Pippen and his play?
I didn't. I didn't because I didn't see Pippen. I mean, I didn't. I don't know. I mean, I think he played. I guess he played all right. I don't know what Pippen did.
That's wow.
I mean, I'm honest with you. I don't know what Pippen did. I have no idea.
That's crazy.
I have no idea.
Is that like a focus thing? It's like you were more focused on your job and what you were doing rather than worried about what Pippen was even like what Pippen was doing on the floor. Or was
what I'm saying is that offensively, he didn't, he wasn't that type of a threat when we played him. He got better. And defensively, I never saw him. You know what I'm saying? I never saw him. I mean, that's just like I could tell you what Steve Kerr did. I don't know what Steve Kerr did.
Gotcha.
I mean,
right.
But
I hear that.
You know what Jordan did.
Yeah, he was guarding. He was guarding Jordan.
Right.
But I mean, I'm being totally honest with you that Pippen wasn't offensively. He wasn't that. You know, I mean, he's a fine player, but he wasn't like we had to worry about Pippen.
Yeah.
You know, just keep him from doing, getting extra. When I was playing, I think he got finer as an offensive player later, but when we played him, I wasn't worried about Pippen. You know, I mean, I was just, you could see, you paid attention to him, but, you just didn't want him to get any little freebies and that kind of stuff. And defensively, I mean, honestly, I didn't have to think about beating him because I never saw him. I only saw Horace Grant and, whoever the other power forward was. That's all I saw. And then he doubled sometimes. Right. But that's about much as I saw. I knew he was a double guy. So I saw him when he came in double. But other than that, I wasn't, no insult to him at all. I'm just giving it to you honest.
No, just giving it real. I mean, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm just giving it honest, man. I'm keeping it totally real. I wasn't. But number 23, I knew what he was. I knew where he was and then, what he was doing.
Then my question for you is, when you were talking earlier about players that don't get rings, and how and what it means for you yourself personally to have those rings that you have, and then also what it would mean if you didn't have those rings. Think about players now, like I was saying, like a Chris Paul who's searching for one right now, even like a Paul George. Players that are good players but haven't gotten over the mountaintop yet, whether it be situation or whether it just be that they weren't good enough to get there at that time. How does that kind of affect your career? Because it's like, especially with a guy like Chris Paul, and that's my main one personally, because you look at him, everybody will say that he's either the best point guard of this era or he's one of them. But he doesn't have a ring to show for it. And if he goes through his whole career, and I know that's something as like a career goal that he wants, but if he goes through his whole career without one, is it really a failure as a career? Or can you find solace in your career even though you never won that ring?
It's going to always eat at him. It's going to, if he doesn't, it's going to always eat at him. Knowing what I know about Chris and knowing the type of individual he is, I know him well. It's going to eat at him, and I think this thing is not that he doesn't have championship built into him, because he does. It's a situational thing. It's a situational thing with a lot of players, and a lot of players, I think, stay championships. His thing is situation, because he's been there like this year, and he might get there next year, so it's about the situation. Some players talk championships, but their actions don't speak championship. So, I don't know if those people will be hurt by it, but, some of them talk championship, but they don't really mean it, Paul George, I would go on the side that really want it, but I don't know him that well.
Right.
So I can't really say that Chris Paul, CP3, I know him. Yeah, it's going to mess with him.
Wow. Definitely.
That's deep.
Yeah, it's going to mess with him.
That's crazy.
You want to give him the Adam's question? Adam just asked him.
Yeah, Adam wanted to know, who was the toughest team you ever played against?
A total team?
The toughest team, like...
excluding the Bulls, who actually beat us.
Maybe was there a team in the West when you were on Dallas?
Well, I only had one team I was worried about, and that was the Lakers. That's it.
If you had the Lakers in their prime against that Bulls team when they finally got over the hump against you, which team would you think is better?
You know what? I can't even. I would not even try to tell you that. That would be. I would love to see that. That would be. To me to say that, I don't have the capability of predicting that one. A lot of them I can kind of, predict. Nobody knows for sure, but that one right there, nah, I can't touch that one. I would love to see that though.
That'd be primetime TV right there, yes sir.
Yeah, I would love to see that. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolute. My God. Yeah. I got something. You want me to keep asking?
I'm just taking it all in.
You got another question for me?
Like I said, like we talking to a 2-time champ.
Yeah.
I'm kind of starstruck a little bit.
Come on, man.
I mean,
yeah, I know. How do you feel about the state of the West right now?
Yeah, how do you
what's going on right now? Because a lot of crazy trades have been happening right now. I'm kind of on the edge of my seat.
Like all the stuff like Cousins going to like the Warriors. Like, let's admit it, that didn't happen back when you played. You think it's good for the league or bad?
Well, you know what though? I mean, I think that anything like I look at it as the league is experimenting, changing. It's evolving. People are finding different ways to win titles. I mean, we're not driving Studebakers anymore. So a lot of people look bad on it, say I wouldn't join the team, but it's evolving. Let's see what it turns into. Let's see what it makes the NBA. I'm not going to call a verdict on that, because at the end of the day, maybe it's tougher, for other teams to have to step up and improve what they do with players or how they recruit players, how long the contracts got to be. I don't know. I think we're trying to touch on something that is evolving, and why not let it evolve? I want to see what happens. We just started this a couple of years ago, and let's see what happens. But we've accepted the fact with the way LeBron signed his 2 years and 2 years and 2 years. Now that's a part of every guy's deal now. I think Durant just signed again, right? Did he just sign another deal?
Yeah, he just signed another one-on-one.
Now we accept that now, don't we?
LeBron, she got 61.
154.
KD?
Yeah,
KD
we
got
accept that
54.
now.
154.
No, that was LeBron.
That was LeBron. Yeah, KD did. I think it was like 61-3
He gets paid
over 2 years.
Yeah. So
he gets like $153.
I don't think the verdict is out on that yet. We're not liking it because it's something different. Let's see what happens.
Oh, you know what? Too? I have a question for you coming off of that, because we only have a short amount of time left, and this is a question that a lot of people, when I go to work, people say this about this free agency stuff. It's been a topic of conversation ever since LeBron made his decision, and it's funny because at the same time, Oscar Robertson just got his recognition for kind of what he did to change free agency. How do you feel about player movement now and the ability that the players have to be able to move compared to when you were going through those processes as a player or during your era, and how it changed? Because it's like you'll talk to people, normal day, everyday people that'll say players have too much power and that they shouldn't have the amount of power that they have. And it's almost like, well, why not? That's my question when people say that kind of stuff to me, because then what would you really want them to do? Just shut up and play basketball? But I mean, at the end of the day, I don't know where that comes from.
That's so wrong. We just had a deal go down between AT&T and Time Warner. We just had a deal go down between AT&T and Time Warner, two of the biggest on each side, because they see an opportunity to grow something different. And that's a business decision. So where you're telling a player that your business decision and your market and your business is supposed to have a cap on the way it operates, how can you do that? You can't have a cap on the way a business operates. There's just no way you're going to do that. So you're going to say, we're going to operate the same way from now on, and there's not going to be no movement. That's going to happen. There's had to happen, because you got a global game which brings in more revenue, right? So if you're bringing in more revenue and you don't allow the movement or competition, you're basically stymieing the ability for your workers to grow.
Right.
How can you do that?
Exactly.
How can you do that? You're talking about having kind of lock up on talent. You can't lock talent up. Mm-hmm. How do you do that? Mm-hmm. You know, you're gonna not stop a good, talented person from Google to move to I don't know Facebook.
Right. Yeah. Right.
You know, he's talented now. So he worked at his talent. He's improved his craft. His value's gone up. So you say, well, you know, you can't go to Facebook. I don't understand that. How do you do that?
Exactly.
That's the way I look at it. Like I say, I'm not the end of the discussion, but that's just the way I look at it.
I hear it. I appreciate that. That's
right. Not at all, man.
Oh, hey, Chris.
I don't know. We about to wrap this up. But yeah, man. We about to wrap this up for the night. But yo, thanks a lot, Mark, for calling in. Trust me, we're definitely supporting whatever you're doing.
Oh man, I love what you guys are helping us with, and I'm gonna hook you up with some more things because I think we're gonna create something very unique here. I tell you, I got a lineup now where I have over 180 players.
Yeah.
That are gonna start now doing content for me.
Yeah. I reached out to Rodney Buford for you.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah, I reached out to him, and he's trying to link up with you now.
Okay, well, good. Well, you're gonna see once we get together and we start lining up format and how we want to do it on our side and how you want to do it on your side. We're gonna fill up a lot of content, fellas. A lot of content.
That's all.
A lot of content.
Like that. That's like a good thing to hear. Like it's weird how God's working.
Fun,
like
man.
the people that I want around me are around me.
Huh?
The people that like I respect and I want to work with are actually around me. Like you're somebody that I've respected for like the longest time.
Well, I like going into new adventures, new world, and this is great for me. I mean, I'm seeing things and getting ideas and working my brain and, you know, hopefully evolve into a niche that nobody's done yet.
And we're gonna be right here for you, man. You got our support 100%.
Absolutely.
You don't know how much I appreciate that, guys. I really do. I really, really do.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yo. We about to get out of here. We about to wrap it up because Miss Jerz look like she
do that thing, man. Do that thing.
But yeah, man.
Absolutely, yo, Mark. Great talking
but
to you tonight.
We about to wrap this up. It was good talking to you, Mark. I appreciate it. You were one of my dad's favorite players.
Well, I so appreciate that, man. I really do.
All right, man. All right, yeah, we gotta do it else. He's not going to. All right, man.
We'll definitely be talking. All right, good talking to you, man.
All right.
Appreciate it.
But yeah, dang, Blizz.
My bad.
So my whole goal was to bring everybody in here, and Blizz shows up late.
Yeah, I showed up late as hell, and then the rain.
You came at the right time though, too.
Yeah, the rain was bad.
I mean, but at least you see the movement.
Yeah, that shit is definitely dope.
Like Blizz, like you're one of the dopest artists that actually supported the movement when it was like nothing.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Oh man,
that was dope.
I need a second.
You definitely came a long way. We both did.
Yeah,
a lot of shit is starting to pop off right now for me too. So.
And that's what I'm saying. Like you need to link up with this dude.
Yeah, I've been looking.
Trust me.
Yeah.
Trust me. Like, yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk.
Yeah, we're gonna bring you back. We're gonna have Zay Forte on next week.
Okay.
So I'm gonna bring you two in, and Mark's not gonna be calling. So we definitely gonna get into everything.
Right.
I want to get into everything y'all two got going on.
All right.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
But yeah, like looks like we in a new situation, a better situation. It's kind of rough right now, but
we'll get it together.
Yeah, we got it together once. We'll get it together again.
We'll say trust the process.
Trust the process. Yes.
Trust the process.
Trust the
process. In the words of Juwan Howard, we about to shock the world.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Y'all see the movement. Y'all see the progress.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks. Shout out to Mark Aguirre for calling in.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Shout out to Miss Jerz and Merc for letting us use the studio for this.
I'm not falling asleep for the record.
I'm just mess with her because Dave's like, Merc's always quiet. Merc's the quiet one, so I can't make jokes about him.
Oh man, yo.
Merc keep a couple in the tub.
I got him on deck.
Hey, Joe, I guess that's the show.
That's the show for tonight. It is.
So you already know.
My mind's literally blown tonight.
Seriously.
It seems like it.
Huh?
Like,
It was an honor to, for you guys to be here and have this show here with Mark Aguirre today. So.
I just feel like
He's a 2-time champ.
yo.
But I just feel like overall,
He's a champ.
I feel like everything's put in place, and this is like the situation that
It's
God,
all coming together.
Like God told me to hold out for this situation.
Yeah.
That's how things happen, man.
I seriously might scream after the live goes off. Like, I seriously might scream. I'm holding this stuff right now, but I seriously, like, bro.
He's holding this
We're gonna be out so we can act like a little kid. All right?
Yeah, I need to.
All right.